being recorded, isn't it? Because I don't want to. Okay,
It
great.
is now.
We're live now.
We're live.
Hot mic moment. So, anyways, but let's jump into the panel. So we're going to do a quick intro. When I say quick, we're talking 30 seconds to a minute tops, and then we're going to jump into the presentations, prepared questions, and then we'll take Q&A from the audience. All right.
Awesome. Lindsay Sethheit, Wyoming County Community College. I'm the Director of Business and Innovation there, including our Small Business and Entrepreneurship Support Center, and that is called the Business Studio. So that's what I'm representing here today.
I'm Joseph House. I'm the President of Wyoming Capital Access.
Hi, I'm Jill Hine. I'm the State Director for the Wyoming Small Business Development Center Network, and I'll explain what the network is when we come up.
Tos Niaket and Neasia no Erica. Hello, good morning. My name is Erica York. I'm with the Wind River Development Fund from the Wind River Indian Reservation.
I'm Amy Lee, but on this panel, I'll be representing Bailey Evans, who's the Managing Director of G-Beta Wyoming.
Hi, everyone. I'm Blossom Co. Lumley. I'm Statewide Director of Startup Wyoming.
All right, Lindsay, you want the clicker, please?
Absolutely.
Because you don't want me with
This looks
technology.
fun. Yeah, that's great. All right. So the Business Studio at Wyoming County Community College is a statewide support center. So anybody from across the state can reach out to us for a variety of different services, which I will cover here. So essentially, we want to stay with you as you progress in your business. That can be you reach out to us every month because you have a new question, or it can be something where you come back to us in a year and a half when there's a new challenge that you're experiencing, whether it be through growth or through non-growth. So we would love to support you. We work alongside the different individuals that you will meet here today. We are often going to distribute some of the different needs that you have to those organizations. So if you have interest on building a business plan, we're going to send you to the SBDC. If you are in some sort of accelerator program because you're wanting to create a new prototype for something in your business, we're going to send you to Generator and G-Beta. So our goal is to try and, one, meet your needs through the services that already exist. And then if you need a specific request or connection, our goal is to really make that connection for you as a warm handoff. And I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves on. If you're looking for someone in a C-suite management position at an insurance company, we're going to, I call it Kevin Bacon. We're going to Kevin Bacon that until we can find that individual to talk to you about whatever it is that you're needing. So that's one of the things that we really try and do is extend our network and try and utilize a vast network of connections across the state to get you that resource or that time in front of someone. We do have business training. Again, we try and complement whatever. So if there is a training that's offered at the Wyoming Women's Business Center, we're going to send you there, and we try not to duplicate those resources. So we try and offer things that maybe are a little bit nuanced, whether it be a training on creating an employee handbook, or you come in and you meet with an employee handbook for your new company or as you grow. So it's those sorts of things that we try and do to fill in the gaps. But like I said, our first goal is to connect you with somebody that's already running that training program. And then the last thing that I will say is consultants. Sometimes it's really difficult to know where to go. You know you need a lawyer, but you're not sure where to start. And we'll help you really think about maybe what lawyers are specifically in your area. Again, the SBDC is great about teaching you what you need to do when you meet with that lawyer. And we can help you connect with somebody that maybe has some expertise in your area. So that's a little bit of an example of how we would complement some of the services that already exist. We would love to hear from you, and the reality might be you just want somebody to listen to what you're talking about, and we're here for that too. So please come see us. We'd love to support you. The other thing that we support is the Wyoming Entrepreneurship Coalition, and that coalition helps to unify all the different service providers across the state, from colleges, universities, downtown developments, chambers, all the different people that are involved in business support and economic development. We try and create a space where we can share events that are happening, ideas that are happening, support different services that are being offered. We really do try hard that we're doing across the state, and that requires a lot of communication, and that's what this group is for. So if you're in the audience and you are one of those service providers and you would like to join us, please talk to me afterward. We'd love to get you added to that group so that you can stay in touch with what's happening across the state and find ways to fold in and where there might be overlap, which again, overlap is really valuable. There's never a problem having too many resources for small businesses, but it does help us kind of know where to send people and where to maximize that request or that opportunity. And so one of the things that we want to talk about a little bit today is how our coordination can actually help you access funding and how that is a big opportunity when you meet with any of us, how that actually helps you qualify for additional funding in the state, which I think I'm answering my question, unfortunately. But a lot of times you'll see different requirements, whether it's an application for a grant or a loan, and it requires you to work with some sort of a support agency or economic developer. And when you work with us and when you work with the collaborative group, you really do have new opportunities, whether it's through Kickstart or some of the other grants that you've seen in the last panel that was hosted in this room. So that's one of the things we can help provide through the coalition. All right, so I do think I almost answered my exact question.
So our format is they prepared a question, sort of like a follow-up question for themselves, and do a Q&A after all the presentations, because you know how that works. Sometimes we'll get a little bogged down. So Lindsay, I think you did answer your question, so we can jump right into our next panelist,
Thank you.
Joseph with Wyoming Capital Access.
So again, I'm Joseph Pouts. I'm the president of Wyoming Capital Access. And then my presentation is on no matter how much experience you have, whenever you try to seek money for your company, it's nerve-wracking. And there are big time wasters that everybody has when they're trying to get their money. Apparently, my sons are going to start walking on their own again. So, being the CDC, we are a 501c3 nonprofit in Wyoming, and we deal with our funding partners, our banks, all the time. And we always see the three biggest errors between the established businesses and our startups that waste time, that we have to go back and collect new documents or redo documents. So these are the three biggest errors that we see, what you can do as businesses to avoid those big errors and save time, because we all know time is money. So in our startup businesses, they come into us with no plan, no business plan, no idea what they're going to use the money for. They have no business plan. They don't know, hey, I need $500 million. Give me money now. I have companies that don't even have LLCs registered. They have absolutely nothing set up yet. They just think we're going to write them a blank check. Give me money. Can't do that. They overestimate their revenue and they underestimate their expenses. How do you solve this error? Easy. You visit the SBDC. The SBDC has the resources to tell you in your industry what your revenue is going to be, what your expenses could be, and and to help you create a business plan. For your established businesses, your small businesses that are already existing, what are your three biggest errors? Bad bookkeeping. I'm gonna give you a secret here about myself. I used to work for the IRS in field collections. Sorry, guys. The bad bookkeeping, I used to see folks intermingle their business funds with their personal funds. That is a no-no. When folks came in with their, why do you have your lunch on your business bookkeeping? Well, I go out and buy myself food every day. No. Unrealistic timelines. I want to open up this building. I think I can get it done in 3 days. No. Give yourself the time to actually do things correctly. And incomplete applications are missing documentation. The state of Wyoming, like I said before, does not require an operating agreement. You don't have to file that with the Secretary of State. SBA does require it. So make sure you have all your documents, make sure your application is complete. If we have to go back and get those documents, I'm waiting on you, the government's waiting on you, the banks are waiting on you. Have your documents, have your packet ready. How do you fix that? You visit the SBDC. So on that,
That's it.
that's it.
Oh,
Super
wow,
easy, right?
We're burning through this. We're gonna have plenty of time for Q&A. Joseph, so I don't think you answered your own
I don't
question
think I
yet.
did.
So so Joseph submitted a question. I made one of the three common errors, even though I prepared and tried my best to avoid it. How do I fix it?
Don't dwell on it. Just get the document, fix it, work with your partner, your bank, your bookkeeper, your accountant, whoever you have to work with. Get the right document back to us as quick as you can, as accurately as you can. Fix it, get it in, get it all corrected. Don't dwell on the mistake, get the mistake rectified, and get the document back into me or whoever you need to get it back into. But really, work with the partners that you've got to work with, whomever they are, to get everything corrected and get it to the right people so that we can get your process moving again.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
All right, next, Joe Klein, State Director for Wyoming Small Business Development Center Network.
Thank you,
Joe.
Justin. Good morning again. If you were here in the last session, welcome back. First, again, we like to work with all of our partners. We are very aware of the Business Studio and Capital Access and the Wind River Development Fund and G-Beta and Startup Wyoming. We don't care what door an entrepreneur or small business comes in. They come in and we assess their needs, and then if we can help them, we're going to. And our motto is, if you get one of us, if you come in and see PJ because she's here in Gillette and you happen to live in Gillette, you not only get PJ, you get the entire staff. And that includes not just SBDC business advisors who are strategically located across the state to make sure we assist everyone in any community, but our other programs. And our other programs include Kelly Hagler Cornish's Wyoming SBIR STTR initiative and Federal and State Technology Program, which is a niche program to assist businesses who may have an idea and a concept, and they want to do some research and development to get it to a commercialized state. That's where Kelly can help you determine if you qualify or are eligible, or if your idea is viable to work through a federal program called SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research, or its partner program, Small Business Technology Transfer, to determine, hey, yes, here's one of the 11 federal agencies who may be looking for a solution to a problem around what you're presenting. And Kelly will assist you with that, tell you all the resources available to take advantage, and advise you through that entire process. We have a market research center, which Joseph alluded to a little bit, because you need to know some competitive intelligence about your industry. If you're a startup or an existing business, you need to understand, hey, this is what's typical in this industry as far as revenue coming in, and why, or what population. Wyoming's the smallest population in the country, so we may have a little bit different numbers than what Pennsylvania has. So that's there, and these databases that our researchers have access to are not something every small business or entrepreneur could access because of the cost, but we have them, and we have the permission to provide you a very detailed report, and then our advising staff will go over that report based on your needs, and you take what you can implement or decide, no, I'm not doing that portion of whatever's happening in this industry, and so on. It gives you facts and educates you about your own industry. Our Apex Accelerator is a government contracting program where we have two wonderful advisors who will assist a small business in jumping through the hoops you have to in order to be able to do government contracting. So there's a lot of registrations, and I'll get to that in one of my next slides, but get a little more detail. But they are fabulous, and you want to get those registrations done correctly the first time, because they're there to have to try and correct. So working with our Apex Accelerator staff is fabulous, and you'll appreciate it very much in the future. Right now we have another SBA program, the cybersecurity program for small businesses, that will sunset in August of this year, but our entire staff has gotten foundational and extensive cybersecurity training in order to be able to help our businesses around cyber awareness and just cybersecurity, period. PJ actually went through an apprenticeship program, and went through this program, we were able to get this good staff training. So PJ's right on the top of our cyber specialists. So, did I miss any of our programs? Not really. In a nutshell, and you can read on the staff, we're educators, we're advisors, we don't do the work for you, but we will guide you and be with you through every step of whatever challenge you're facing, or you've got a skill, an individual who has a skill, and I want to turn my skill into a business. We're going to help you. You don't have an MBA. Great, that's fine. You have the skill. So let us help you get to where you need to be. You're an existing business and you're ready to expand. Hey, let's do some number crunching and market analysis to see what does expansion look like for you, and how would I go about it? When am I really ready to hire another or an employee, period? Hey, right now I'm doing everything myself and I can't work 24/7. I do need to sleep once in a while. Hey, is it time to hire an employee? Any of those types of things. So that one-on-one advising that we provide to entrepreneurs, small businesses, is confidential and offered at no charge because of our funding opportunities. Oh, one more minute? Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so here's some of our specialty services. We can do everything from accounting to HR to business plan development, preparing to go to the bank for a loan, anything in between. We offer marketing materials. We can do a financial health checkup if you're an existing business to see where you are. So it doesn't matter what stage of your business journey you're in, we can probably help you. Keep going, Amy. We have a high caliber staff. One thing I want to point out is our entire advising staff are entrepreneurs themselves. They've either owned and operated a business, or still own and operate a business, or have played a managerial role in a business where they basically do that business. So, oops, one more back. And the government contracting, here's some of the things. This is really specifically to government contracting, all the things you'd have to do if you want to expand your market into government contracting. Then our staff can help you with all the various registrations and understanding the thresholds and anything else government contracting. All right.
You submitted a question, so a lot of acronyms, a lot of stuff, and actually you're going to hear quite a bit of it from this, but this is the technical session. And do realize we all have tables here, so if you have follow-up questions you don't feel comfortable answering, or need something more in depth, please stop by our tables. We'll be here for the rest of the day. We'll both panelists. Both of them not getting anybody. So Jill, and again, a little technical question. The Small Business Innovation Research, SBIR, a lot of acronyms, program was recently reauthorized. Can you share more information on the types of businesses that might be a fit, and how the SBA's FAST grant and Wyoming's Phase 0, that's Phase 0, not Phase O, correct?
Right.
Program offer resources to support them?
I can, but somebody who can do it better is Kelly. So, yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this. We're excited about the reauthorization of the SBR program. One of the other exciting things is that SBR program is turning 44 years old, and we'll be celebrating that birthday in July on the 22nd. So that's another exciting opportunity to celebrate with us. But with the federal and state technology partnership program, we were able to bring on another person to our staff who's increased our ability to do more proposal reviews for to our companies who are applying for Phase 1 and Phase 2 funding. And then we also have some small industry specific funds with our FAST program. So our SBR companies can get some technical assistance if they're looking at mapping out their FDA certification approval process, or maybe they need help with DCA accounting. So that's the other thing we were able to do with our federal and state technology partnership funding. And then with the Wyoming SBR, STTR funding through the state, we have a phase 0 contract program. So small businesses can get microseed funding to help them be more successful in their phase 1 and phase 2 application process.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. And I want one more thing. At our booth, we have our brochures, of course, and then we also have a directory of all of our advising, or all of our staff, but our advising staff is listed here. PJ has some of those, but we'll have them at our booth after the fact as well. So you can always start with your advisor in your general location, and then, like I said, if you get one of us, you get all of us. So if you're working with PJ on startup and she helps you with everything, but you need very specific assistance with SBIR, or government contracting, or marketing, e-commerce, or preparing to go to a bank for a loan, we have a former banker on staff. So she'll connect you with internal or external experts to assist you.
Perfect. Thank you, Jill and team. All right, Erica, CEO of Wind River Development Fund.
Thank you. Hello, friends. Quick question. Who's been here since Monday? Raise your hand. I don't want to mess with any of you, especially since you've made it to the last session on the last day. So we got some conference warriors here. All right, good to know. Good afternoon. My name is Erica Yarber. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Wind River Development Fund, and actually also the Wind River Sage Fund. I'm just going to quiz you guys because everybody's tired. So does everybody know what a CDFI is? Who knows what a CDFI is? Oh, that was going to be okay, but because yeah. So technically, who we are is we were established in 2001, and we're a nonprofit. But what a CDFI means is that we're a community development financial institution. Okay, so everybody loves acronyms, right? Our job is to get access to capital and then get that out in the form of loans to entrepreneurs. Okay, what makes us really unique is that we're a native CDFI. Okay, so I can sit here and say that Wind River Development Fund, without a doubt, 1,000%, I will bet you $1 million that we are the best native CDFI in Wyoming. Doesn't matter that we're the only one. Okay, we're the best one. There's about 67 native CDFIs across the country, so we're really unique. So like I said, we do small business lending. We lend up to $400,000. We can lend $500 up to $400,000. But one thing that's really unique about us is actually 2 years ago, we stood up another nonprofit, our sister organization, which is the Wind River Sage Fund, which is another nonprofit, because we were actually awarded a $36 million recompete grant for economic development on the reservation. So we wear two hats, same thing. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Wind River Sage Fund as well. So, but yeah, that's kind of, we really wanted to take a two-pronged approach to economic development. So we have our lending side of things, and then we have our economic development side of things. So that's who we are. Yeah, and since this is a technical assistance panel, being a native CDFI, that's what makes us different from institutionalized banking is we're really proud of how we actually are able to lend, because we do technical assistance, but we're really a relationship-based lender. Okay, so as soon as somebody walks through the door, just like everybody on this panel, whether it's just an idea, whether it's been cooking for a couple of years, whether they went to a bank and they've gone to 2 or 3 banks and they've been turned down, we'll sit down with them and we'll offer any type of support we can. So we do the whole coaching, the financial coaching for youth and adults. We do business plan development. We do the market and customer evaluation, business creation. We walk them through filing and setting up, their EINs, filing through the state, evaluation of cash flow. So we're kind of a one-stop shop, and there's times when we get really busy or we don't have the capacity or we just don't know things. And so we do partner with a lot of people up here, and we really appreciate the resources that in the partnerships that we have with everybody, because something that I can say is being a re-emerging CDFI and the misconception that you can't lend in Indian country, that's not true at all. In fact, last year we had our biggest year. We got $1.8 million out the door on our reservation. And so that's really exciting. And our default rate in 2025 was a big goose egg. So it doesn't get much better than that. Thank you. Yeah, so we're really excited, but we know that the reason why our customers and who we work with are successful is because we do build that relationship, but it's also a huge part to this technical assistance, right? We want people to be successful. So that means sometimes working with somebody for a couple months because they're ready. Sometimes that means working with people for a year and a half, okay? Because we are invested in our people and our community. And then people also ask, well, you guys are a native CDFI. Do you serve other, non-native people? Of course we do. In Fremont County, technically, because of the U.S. Treasury, we have a little bit of rules and regulations we have to follow. So our target population is Native Americans or people in Fremont County. But if there's Native Americans outside of our county, then we definitely want to visit with them. But being relationship based as well, we do site visits, we go see how people are doing. And so we really don't want to necessarily fund somebody in New York if we're gonna have to go check. Well, maybe we do, I don't know. Paul, what's our travel budget? So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. And one question that was asked was kind of new and exciting. Besides Recompete and all of our outdoor rec projects, if you guys want to know more, just go to our websites. We're very transparent. You can track us on both websites. But right now, we own the Frank B. Weiss building in Fort Washakie. And if you've been to our reservation, unfortunately, brick and mortar is very hard to come by. So there's not touchdown space for people that are wanting to start a business, have access to computers, and things like that. So this is actually something that is on our radar that we really are working hard to finish and implement, is establishing a native business growth lab in one of our wings. There was a tenant in there before. Since then, they found kind of downsized, and now we really want to use this place as an incubator place or somewhere where entrepreneurs, people can come, grow their ideas, have our support directly in this space, and hopefully we can get a lot more of that lending capital out the door, and we can see some growth, even more growth on our reservation. So.
Perfect, Erica. You already answered your own question, but we're going to I think it drives some of the point. So, something I think the audience needs to know. So again, how are CDFIs different from traditional commercial banks?
Yeah, so you're not a number to us. You're a person. We know that everybody here, everybody that. I think that starting a business is such a it's just something that's in you. Like, it's something that was given to you from the creator. I feel like the funny thing is I started a business when I started working at the Wind River Development Fund because I didn't know what it would take to start a business on the reservation. A lot of people don't understand like the land issues, who you need to go to. And so in order to help our clients to be the best they can be, I started my own business on the reservation. It was a great learning experience, but I just come from entrepreneurs. My dad is an entrepreneur because he wanted to create, break that systemic cycle of poverty for my family. And so I really believe in what CDFIs can do. Because like I said, the fact that we have a 0% default rate in Indian country is huge. And we want to see people succeed. We don't want to come take people's collateral. And so that's the difference between us and what CDFIs can do opposed to institutionalized banks. Nothing wrong against them, but in startup businesses, sometimes you need people that are cheering for you, and we'll definitely be your biggest cheerleaders and do our very best to make sure that we set you up for success.
Perfect. Thank you, Erica. All right, so we're going to sub out Bailey Evans and put up Amy Lee, our utility infielder. It's also keeping time, so I'm going to keep on blabbing and make her turn bright red because we're wasting too much time. But no, we want to get to Q&A, so Amy, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Honestly, it's really like our final exam if we know each other's programs well enough to give each other's presentations. So I'm going to do my best. Bailey Evans is amazing. Generator is a national venture capital firm that runs startup support programming all across the country. In Wyoming, they host the G-Beta Wyoming program, which is a free virtual accelerator for startups based in Wyoming. It's designed for startups with national or global ambitions that are curious about venture capital investments as a plan to growth. So this is Bailey. The G-Beta Wyoming program is run by Bailey Evans, who really wishes she could be here with all of us today, but she was unable to make it from her home in Cheyenne. But what she really wanted me to emphasize is that anybody is welcome to reach out her directly. Her email address is there. I have her flyers. They'll be on the SBA table as well right after this, so we can make sure to connect you with Bailey. I do have a cheat sheet, it's gotta happen. But I love this program, and I've seen the success firsthand of some of their clients and what they've been able to accomplish. So really love this program. G-Beta is a free 7-week program that runs twice per year, once in the spring and once in the fall. There's a simple application and interview process, and the Generator team chooses 5 companies for each program. It's entirely free for founders, thanks to their partnerships with Microsoft, the Business Studio at LCCC, and the Cheyenne-Laramie County Economic Development Joint Powers Board. Programming includes lunch and learn webinars, 2 weekly one-on-one coaching sessions, one-on-one meetings with a total of 30+ mentors, and 25 or more targeted one-on-one investor pitches. Since 2020, the program has worked with 55 Wyoming companies and raised more than $45 million in investments and grants to grow their companies. That means for every dollar invested by their funding partners, G-Beta Wyoming alumni have raised about $61 in financing to grow their Wyoming companies. That's a pretty impressive return on investment. Okay, here's a few characteristics that G-Beta is looking for when selecting their cohort. But Bailey is happy to meet with anyone who's curious about the program to talk about whether your business might be a good fit. The characteristics of these companies are that they're scalable. The company is able to grow its revenue faster than its costs, that it's innovative. The company has a product or service that's unique and fills a specific market gap. Uncertainty, because of that unique or innovative product, the company's business model is uncertain and it must experiment and iterate on different approaches to growth. And funding. Early startups are usually operating on low revenue and high costs and high risk, which can make venture capital their best option for growth financing. And if you were here a little bit earlier, Rylan O'Brien with the Business Council talked a little bit about venture capital and what that model is differently from traditional lending. Okay, and applications, this is the most important thing for you to take back for your businesses or your communities. Applications for the next G-Beta program are open now, and they're due September 20th. So you can learn more about that at the website. And I'm up for taking her question.
You sure you want to take her question?
I am, because she gave me the answer.
Okay. So the question is, in quantum physics and string theory, there are 3 competing things that we need to discuss. Can you discuss all 3? But you have to do it in the voice of Schrodinger's cat. Sure you can handle that one? Now, the real question is...
That one's flat. That one's flat. That was a little too flat for the game, right? To throw at least something in there. What is the time commitment for the founders during the 7 weeks?
Great question, appreciate that. The program's designed to be part-time and flexible to meet the needs of founders who aren't yet working full-time on their startups. So participants can expect to spend about 5 hours a week on G-Beta programming for the 7 weeks of the program. Thanks so much, and there's a QR code up there as well as information, and I'll have Bailey's handouts at our booth for SBA. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. All right, Lawson, you're up, statewide director for Startup Wyoming.
Thank you, hi. I'm actually gonna stay right here so y'all don't have to watch me hobble slowly to the other end of the table. I am with Startup Wyoming, and our mission is to serve innovation-driven startup founders in every corner of our state. basically to help spark innovation, foster collaboration, and accelerate growth throughout our innovation-driven startup ecosystem. So we formally launched our programming in January of this year, so we're just a baby organization. In the previous year, we conducted a gap analysis where we met with hundreds of stakeholders across all 23 counties, including some that I see in the room today, to figure out what the needs of these specific founders and what they want to see from a growing ecosystem are. And so one of the things that we identified was there's a lot of startup founders in this space feel that there are a wealth of resources for small and medium-sized businesses, but for their particular type of model or what it is that they're trying to prove out, sometimes they were confused or at a loss as to what kinds of people and mentors and resources existed for them at the stage that they were at. And so the first thing that we did is we developed this startup roadmap that is right here on our website. And in the blue, it sort of outlines that steady growth trajectory of a typical small and medium-sized business throughout our state. These are companies that, you see them in your communities, working on Main Street, lifestyle businesses, et cetera, or even the growth companies that, can scale, but, have a proven business model that, is being replicated, here in our state. Contrast that to this green line over here. The reason why there is a dip is because these companies are specifically trying to develop a completely unique and novel technology that doesn't exist anywhere in the world. And because of that, it's a huge amount of risk. There's a lot of proving, a lot of research that needs to go into this, a lot of customer discovery that needs to go into it. And so typically these companies will experience a valley of death before they get to that point where they can actually commercialize and scale and grow. Our core value is to put these founders at the center of everything that we do. We want to make sure that anything that we engage in isn't duplicative of the partners that we have across the state. We also want to make sure that it is actually being informed by their needs. And so the first thing that we did in January was put out a call to try to connect with all of these founders across the state. To date, in the past 5 months, we have registered over 120 founders, of which about half of those are specifically innovation driven. And the next step is to put them together. Next week, we're going to be rolling out on our website this map, this founder map, which shows by stage, by sector, and by region where all these different types of companies are operating and what it is that they're working on. We've also had, these in-depth intake sessions in order to start gathering that data so that we know where our areas of strength are in the state. And then these working groups that we're going to put together are to be able to identify what they want to see in the areas of education, mentorship, and capital access. So in the area of capital access, Startup Wyoming is a recipient, a 2025 recipient of the SBA Growth Accelerator Fund Prize. We were awarded the first tranche of funding, the first phase of funding to develop capital stack education that we're going to be rolling out in early fall of this year. We're waiting to hear about this secondary, the phase 2 funding, the status of that, but we've laid all the groundwork to try to put together a statewide angel fund that would be sort of a hybrid between a VC fund, like a managed fund, but pull in LPs, that are accredited investors across the state, or, basically investors that are interested in funding specifically Wyoming companies. And with that, I just want to encourage everyone to reach out to us. If you're an innovation-driven founder, if you know an innovation-driven founder, if you are interested in learning more about how to become an innovation-driven founder, one of the key things that we want is we want to encourage more of these types of businesses across the state to make it accessible to anybody who's got an idea locked in their head that that you really think has a chance of becoming a viable idea. So And with that, I'll open it up to questions.
And also, I love the website. It's, if you read it out loud, it's Startup Why. You know, it's like why start. No, seriously, I kind of like. I don't know if you guys did that on purpose or not, but something that stood out. Okay, Blossom, your question. What are some of the key differences and similarities? I'm combining the two questions into one. What are the key differences and similarities in the funding path of small businesses versus innovation-driven enterprises?
Okay, so the biggest differences are in the early stages. So, and the biggest differences are in the types of lenders, the types of funders that you'll have depending on the business model that you have. So if you are a small and medium-sized business, typically your funder is going to be a bank or you know, another type of commercial lender, CDFI, you know, other types of lenders that have a risk profile that is typically lower than, you know, what it is an IDE would need to go after in order to get funding. So the main concern there is, what's your revenue? You know, are you going to be able to pay back this loan, you know, over time? A lot of that debt is collateralized. Do you have something to back it up just in case, you know, revenue dips and you're not able to meet that, meet that repayment? On the other hand, for VCs, most of the companies, you know, these types of early stage companies are pre-revenue, and for some of them, they're going to be pre-revenue for a very long time. And so venture capitalists, they take on that risk. They have a much higher risk profile, right? And so the types, the ways, the things that you have to prove out, you've got to de-risk your tech. They want to make sure that, you know, you actually have a chance of building this into a 10x and 10-year company, and they're willing to take on that risk because looking at their portfolio of companies, they know going in that most of these companies are not going to make it. They're not going to succeed. So they're going to bet on that one big unicorn that is going to get them the return that they need in order to pay back their LPs for their investment. So that's the key difference. As far as similarities go, a later stage, all of these companies are looking to commercialize, and so they may be going after the same types of debt or the same types of funding, and that's when you start seeing a little bit more merging in the kinds of materials that you need to represent or what it is that you need to have in order to secure that kind of funding. So.
Great, thank you, Blossom. And a lot of the focus here is to kind of give you enough information to whet your appetite and figure out who you want to follow up with. If we didn't give you too much, now you're even more confused. But we want to leave ample time for question and answer from the audience. But before that, let's thank our panel. All right, questions? Oh, come on.
Kelly.
Kelly.
I just wonder if someone could mention about one of our partners that's not here, is Manufacturing Works, if they could explain kind of what they do and how they help small businesses. Thanks.
Kelly, thank you. That's a great question. Manufacturing Works has been partnering really closely with SBA on our Made in America initiative over the last year. And what they are is an MEP program, micro manufacturing extension and partnership program. And they are federally funded to assist manufacturers specifically. So if you're a manufacturer or work with a manufacturer, their team is located all around the state, and they can provide that one-on-one technical assistance. Some of their initial services are free, but they do have a model where you have to pay for consulting after that initial bit of assistance. But we're happy, SBDC, all these organizations up here, we all work very closely with them, and we're happy to refer or help you connect with them with them not being here today. It wasn't that we didn't think they added value, it was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna try to get through this in enough time to get our regional administrator to the airport for his flight back to Denver so he doesn't have to spend another day here in Gillette after being here
United
for his
doesn't want to
10th
accommodate our
time.
schedule, it's horrible. So. Also, who here was at the earlier session? Let's show of hands. So also remiss not to point out the USDA, who's also not on the panel. United States Department of Agriculture. They also do business funding. It's kind of interesting. Federal government, it's an easy win for federal agencies when they help small businesses because everybody loves small businesses until they don't. So yeah, you guys know how that works, right? Questions? Come on. Gave you guys 15 minutes. Kelly, no. Somebody else that's Kelly.
Okay, I'm actually here for the town of Mountain View, but my brother sent me on a side quest. So he has an idea, that's all it is at the moment. There was a lot of information that was given today, and I take it he would need to talk to the gal in the middle there. But my question is, what does that cost to him? I think it's pretty cool.
Our services, because of our funding model, SBA, federal funding, and state funds from the Business Council, our services are offered at no cost and confidentially. We have federal statute that requires us to maintain client confidentiality. Some of our events may have a nominal fee when we're paying a presenter or an expert, have nominal fees, but those are typically webinars or in-person events that may have a nominal fee to attend, just so we can cover costs. But that one-on-one advising, and you can come in as many times as you need, is no cost.
And the market research.
And the market research, yeah.
Contract.
Okay, and then
And working with Kelly, if
Yeah,
that's your.
yes.
it's just, he wants to start like, we don't have anywhere for kids to hang out in our community. So they're just driving around, wreaking havoc. They're not really, we don't really have good kids, but he wants somewhere for them to go to hang out that's just for them, right? Maybe pool tables, place to grab a cheap hamburger, whatever. So is this the right avenue for that to open those doors?
He would very, very much so benefit from meeting, where did you say you were?
Mountain View.
Okay, so you'd work with our, Rob Condi is our regional
yes.
director there, and Rob can help him assess,
Okay.
you know, what his needs are, and is there a market for it? You know, what will his cash flow?
Right.
Will he be able to pay himself? What will he really need? Yes, Rob can help him through that entire process, and he'll connect with any of the other advisors or programs within our network or outside of our network that he could benefit from.
Okay, and then the other question is, and I think you mentioned it, I'm sorry, there was a lot there I was trying to follow. In the startup, I know that you said you can do loans for even the startup costs, but are there grants available for that type of thing on the outside that he can maybe help fund some of that startup?
Likely not.
Okay.
There are some very niche grants out there, like Verizon puts one out there. And we've helped clients apply for and receive those, you know, very specific, grants. For the most part, there is not grant funding for starting up a business.
Okay, but maybe he could get grants for
He can,
the building or different, like
no.
fixing up things, fixing up the location, anything like that. Because he's probably just gonna have to purchase a building that maybe needs work.
Maybe it's a nonprofit.
I doubt he would.
So-
He might.
County by county, there's different opportunities, so there's joint powers boards in different counties across Wyoming, and that might be something just to look into. I don't know about your county.
Yeah.
And they often have grant funding available for some of those sorts of things, downtown development authorities. Sometimes a chamber will have a program in place, something like that. And if you have a Main Street program and that's where that building is, there might be some grant funding for exterior or signage or sidewalks, just some of those components that they're working on as part of that collaborative. So those would be some places I would look for a grant specific to that, either the building or the program itself.
But not likely to purchase a building.
Right.
These are absolutely,
And that was my question, like to help maybe like fix it up or
right.
whatever, but not to purchase. Okay, wonderful.
We leave no stone unturned. You know, if somebody comes to our office and says, hey, I heard about this grant, if they can show us where it is, we'll help them research whether or not it's true. Because we have had a lot of people, our small businesses or entrepreneurs take advantage or have been taken advantage of by unfortunate scams. Okay, just give us $5,000 and we're gonna give you $2 million.
Okay.
And It's unfortunate, but it does happen. So
Wonderful, thank you guys.
when in doubt, ask.
Perfect, thank you.
And everybody should know, I mean, everything is very accessible. So there's no bad not just in the audience, but there's no bad questions. Nothing's embarrassing. I think Jill at this point has heard it all, everybody on this panel. So, that's the great thing, and especially the confidentiality aspect of it. Even if you think it's a dumb question or something, or you don't know if it's right, they're going to help direct you where you need to go. So please take advantage of the resources. Yes.
All right, so I have a question. So this might sound a little dumb, but so I own a business in Casper in construction and concrete. So that's kind of like a very competitive market, and to try to compete with the bigger companies, you have to have a little bit of capital and stuff like that. But maybe not even that. You guys mentioned that you guys could help me out with some marketing, some business plans, how to set myself up more properly, and maybe not get like a grant or a loan or anything like that, but do you guys have resources like that in your industry?
We do. Steve Stovall is our advisor in our Casper office. You can start with Steve, he'll do an assessment, and again, we have an individual who focuses on marketing and helps you assess, hey, how is it best to reach your market? Shotgun approach, is that gonna work for you? Or, hey, can you do some very targeted marketing to folks who need your services? So he can help you set that up, or refer you to Kyle Trumbull, who's out of our Riverton office, who really focuses on some of those things. And, should you be on Instagram versus something else, or just Facebook will get to all of your, maybe not. So he'll help you to make those determinations.
And let me add to that real quick as well. A lot of our construction companies, we do see doing pros and cons analysis of whether government contracting at either the county, state, or federal level are for them. So on our team, Drew James is our business development specialist in Casper. So at the SBA office in Casper, which is on the post office side of the Cheney Federal Building. And so we can kind of help you work with the Apex Accelerator under Jill's program to kind of evaluate that government contracting angle and whether, being a prime contractor or subcontractor, help you with bonding. SBA has a surety bond guarantee program that we can assist with on the construction side. So all of those kind of things, I think, are things that a lot of construction companies start thinking about as they start growing and looking for those jobs.
The last thing I'm going to add is, as an entrepreneurship coalition, we have the opportunity to partner with different marketing firms to help them understand a little bit of the marketing challenges that we're seeing across our different clients. And so we do have a couple different providers in Casper that are familiar with our products and our programs and have different packages that are designed specifically to meet that small business owner need, particularly in that growth. Because it's really hard when there's a marketing agency that's like a full scope marketing agency. You're not ready for that, but you need some of those features and components that will get you there. And we have identified some different individuals in that space. If that would be helpful, we'd love to provide those recommendations to you as well.
Just for giggles, I need some at work in Douglas if you're willing to travel.
Yeah, there you have it.
I have a question, and just from the grants management side, we do see a lot of technical requests from small businesses, and some of the questions that I've heard along the way, and you might have mentioned already in your presentation, but mainly for the Small Business Development Center, any type of industry, any type of small business, are they able to receive help at the center?
The short answer is yes. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, what stage they're in, what they're looking for, what their challenge is. We'll assess their needs and help them through one thing after the next. Good to know. And I don't think we mentioned the Wyoming Women's Business Center, did we? Did somebody mention that?
I just briefly.
Okay, yes. Okay, all right.
We'll go to Kelly if there's no one else.
My question's for Lindsay. You guys have an incredible makerspace there, and a lot of our clients have used it. If you could share a little bit about that space and how it helps people, I think that would be wonderful.
You bet. Thank you for bringing that up. So we have a facility on campus called the Concept Forge, and it's not a traditional makerspace that you might see in a public library or at a school. It's a makerspace that's specifically designed to create prototypes, working prototypes. It's designed also to do small batch production. So again, when you're dealing with a concept, to test that with your market, you might need a run of 20, and that is very expensive to do and set up at a formal market or a manufacturing center. So we can help support you with a small batch. We have 3D printers that do a variety of different metal substrates. We have a variety of different printing materials. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can connect with us virtually and we can give you that information. And I'm a great conduit of that. I will connect you with the individuals that have those expertise, because I do not have those, let me assure you. And you're also welcome to come down to our facility on LCCC's campus. It is another service that, while it is at our community college, is a statewide service and is designed to support innovation throughout the state and throughout that region. We have 3D scanners as well that can be really beneficial if you are trying to augment something that you already have. So those are some components that we have available. Because we are attached to the business studio, there are ways that we can help supplement some of those costs associated there. Certainly not all of them, because it is expensive to run those machines, and some of the materials specifically are really expensive, but we can help augment, maybe help with some design services, things like that. In general, that Concept Forge is designed for a variety of R&D stages, and if we can't do what you need, we can also help connect you to other places that we're familiar, not only in Wyoming, but in the Front Range. We typically have some machines that aren't available anywhere else in Wyoming, but we do try and create connections down in the Front Range as well for other devices, equipment, printing that might not be available for us.
Before Blossom goes, Amy's pushing me to the airport. She likes getting me out of Wyoming and back to Colorado. That, or she wants to take over the panel. I'm not so sure. Anyways, thank you, everybody, and the panel will be continuing on.
Yes, thank you very much. And let's give a round of applause for our regional administrator, Justin Everett. This is literally his 4th or 5th trip to Gillette in the last year, and about his 10th trip to Wyoming. I've never seen it with a political appointee out of Denver this committed to Wyoming. So thank him, and thank you for the Trump administration for supporting that. Also, Amber Cutler, our regional recovery coordinator, spent the last couple days with us. Thank you both, gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to turn it to Blossom to answer that question or add more to it.
So I just wanted to do a shout out to LCCC's facilities. The Advanced Manufacturing Center is a terrific resource for innovation-driven companies that are looking to manufacture a minimum viable product. One of the gaps that we have in the state is that if you have something and you need to build out, this weird thing, right? This weird widget, and iterate on it in order to perfect it, trying to go to a typical manufacturer, it's not possible, because they will say it's going to be $10,000 to do the first design, and then you have to do 10,000 copies of it in order for it to make it worth our time. So the fact that something like that facility exists is a huge boon to our innovation-driven founders. By all means, take advantage of it, because if that had existed when we were building out our stuff, we could have saved $500,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to really quickly just circle back to manufacturing works.
Maybe on.
Sorry, I'm just quiet. Just circle back on manufacturing works. We will help pull in that partner if that is something that you need support on, especially from a supply chain standpoint. And again, the other partners in this space that might support you through that process. We certainly aren't going to be the expert in all things research, development, prototyping, but we can help provide some of the actual material components of that.
Okay, we're at time. If you got one quick comment, just one quick comment. I want to just give a shout out to all the community colleges, and there are maker spaces across the state. So working with your regional director or any of these entities. And the libraries. Oh, yes, absolutely. Take advantage of your public libraries and the community colleges, what they have to offer, and any maker spaces in your communities.
Okay, Diana's telling me we've got one last question.
I actually don't have so much of a question as I just wanted to let you all know that your local workforce centers are actually a great resource for that technical assistance as well. There's more than just available funding, but those business checks are really there for you. There's resources like Hire WYO that can really benefit you, and just the focus of the Department of Workforce Services in Wyoming is to really help Wyoming and those small businesses. So really take advantage of those local workforce centers and let them know if you have any questions or any random just like requests for assistance. So.
Okay, and as we close, I just want to give a real shout out to the State Budget Office, Grants Management Office. We really appreciate you, Diana. This was amazing. And as well, so thank you for being here as well. Really appreciate this opportunity. We're going to all be around through lunch and staffing tables for a while afterwards. So if your question didn't get answered or you want to dive deeper with any of us, please do so. And even beyond the funding summit, this is what we're here to do, is serve businesses in your communities and serve you as business owners. So thank you again for this opportunity, and we really appreciate all of you being here. Thanks to our panel one more time.